Good evening, and welcome to the dark side. I find it interesting, as well as a bit unfortunate, that one's search for examples of the best and worst in human behavior need not go further than our interactions with friends, family, and romantic partners. They observe firsthand our own struggles with the consuming forces of the dark side against which Yoda warned. The common misperception that dark side research focuses only on the evils and dangers in human behavior overlooks its true intent and heuristic value. Examining darkness is essential to our understanding of the human experience. We use darkness to make sense out of the world, labeling things as good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, and constructive or destructive, and we take action based upon these assessments. Experiences of darkness also have a greater impact on our individual and relational well-being. Research conceptualizes the dark side of interpersonal communication across two dimensions. Normativeness reflects the degree to which society or culture considers a behavior morally appropriate. Functionality reflects the implications of the behavior on the survival of an individual or social system. The first and third quadrants here challenge us to examine conditions under which good and productive behaviors yield dysfunction, and when immoral and destructive behaviors enable one to thrive. The intersections of the bright and dark in these ways can create paradox or functional ambivalence in human interactions. As a result, the dark side perspective provides a complex and intriguing way of thinking about interpersonal relationships and human behavior, including relational transgressions, complaining, affection, hurtful messages, and conflict. Conflict is a natural and inevitable event. Whether confronted or avoided, conflict can turn our worlds upside down and negatively affect us, others, and our relationships. However, conflict also contains potential for great opportunity. This important paradox challenges us to develop the skills necessary to navigate the dangers in conflict, minimizing and avoiding them where possible, while also embracing its opportunities. This objective guides my interdisciplinary research of the influences of relational communication and conflict on well-being. Communication and conflict are intricately connected. Communication creates conflict, it reflects conflict, and it is the means by which conflict is managed. My research examines the association between conflict and paradoxical forms of communication, social influence, and social confrontation. Paradoxical forms of communication, like teasing, contain contrasts that make them susceptible to misinterpretation. And others, like the silent treatment, create a paradox for the listener when enacted. Social influence involves changing the thoughts, actions, attitudes, or feelings of another, and social confrontation involves expressing grievances to the perpetrator of an offense. In close relationships, I examine factors that influence the explicitness and constructiveness with which intimate partners enact these behaviors in response to relational problems. I'm also interested in the enactment of these behaviors in the instructor-student relationship. This is a unique and complex interpersonal relationship in which efforts to build positive relational bonds containing trust, intimacy, and support can be inhibited by the power differentials and evaluative feedback inherent to teaching. These tensions can make faculty-student interactions distressing, dysfunctional, and even destructive for all involved. Research shows that interactions about disappointing grades can be especially emotionally intense and conflict-inducing. Aware of this potential, some approach these conversations head-on and with reckless abandon. Others may use extreme caution, employing policies to regulate when and how these interactions can occur. And some may avoid them altogether by becoming difficult to reach after returning graded assignments. My interdisciplinary research examines factors that influence if and how students discuss disappointing grades with faculty. It also seeks to enhance understanding of how to effectively manage these potentially difficult interactions and maximize learning opportunities within them. It's not surprising that social influence is prevalent in student-faculty interactions about grades. I'm sure we've all experienced students' efforts to influence our behavior, whether to create favorable impressions, acquire inside study tips, or even to obtain a higher grade. My research demonstrates that students' educational orientations significantly impact their social influence behavior during grade conversations. Learning-oriented students have better study skills and grades and less performance anxiety than grade-oriented students. These contrasts contribute to the best and worst in grade conversations. For example, learning orientation drives students' use of constructive influence tactics. Grade orientation drives their use of manipulation. This destructive tactic also inhibits the learning opportunities in grade conversations. So here too, darkness proves more impactful than the bright. From instructional settings to close relationships, my teaching, research, and consulting activities seek to enhance the knowledge and communication skills pertinent to effective relational communication and conflict management. As we encounter the darker aspects of interpersonal communication in our lives, many will take heed of the Yoda-like wisdom and cautions regarding their potential dangers. However, we must remember to embrace the opportunities for meaningful growth individually and relationally that are present in the midst of darkness as well. Thank you.